Hello, everyone. I'm ZHAO Chuang. Today, we are going to draw the head of Parasaurolophus. The most distinctive feature of the head of Parasaurolophus was its long cranial crest. The crests of different species of Parasaurolophus were different, some were shorter and curved downward, and some were longer. The Parasaurolophus walkeri possessed a longer one. We need to pay attention to the position where the crest protruded. Its crest didn't protrude from the rear end of the back of the head, but from a position a little back from the eyes. Although Parasaurolophus is a duck-billed dinosaur, it didn't really have a flat beak like a duck. Its bones were like this with downward keratinous structure when it was alive. Now let's draw the head of Parasaurolophus. First we determine the basic position of the head. The end of its head was the position of the rear of the head. Draw it here. Leave enough space for its long tube we will draw later. Draw the front of its mouth here. Its eyes was somewhere here. Use the position of the eyes as the benchmark, and the front side of its head should be a triangle. We can draw its eyes a little rounder to make it a bit like a bird's eye. And then draw its pupils with a little highlight in them. Render the soft skin around its eyes. Dinosaurs' eyes were quite big, but the parts we could see weren't so much. Then go forward, we can draw its nose, which was a part of its crest. In front of its eyes, the bones here were very large. Accommodating its nasal cavity. Its nostrils were here. The nose was quite large, but the opening of the nostrils was at a lower position when it was alive. Moving down to draw its mouth. Fossils show a shape similar to that of a duck's beak, but there was a downward growing keratinous structure that made the front of the mouth look like a horseshoe-shaped beak. When viewed from the side, the lower beak was blocked by the upper jaw when its mouth was closed. We can draw the corners of the mouth bigger and at a backward position. Then, we draw wrinkles around the corners of its mouth. Here was its cheekbone where we can draw some textures. Next, let's draw the edges of its lower beak, followed by the outline of its lower jaw. Note that this part of the lower jaw was slightly sunken inward, but it had plumper cheeks, because there were larger muscles here. Moving on to draw the back of its cheeks. As mentioned earlier, this area was a triangle with the eyes as the benchmark, but tilt downward when it comes to the back of the eyes. Its temporal foramen was here, which was a tilting forward shape. briefly outline the shape of the eye socket. As we said, this was an area that connected the nostrils, which was a bulging structure. So this is the outline of its head. Now moving on to its most famous structure, the cranial crest. Its crest was actually a curved tube formed by extending the nose backward. The crest had its root protrude from the rear of the eyes, and had a bulging part at the end. Remember to draw the nasal cavity on the side of the crest, which is a groove. Next, its neck running along the back of the head. Then its throat. Draw some wrinkles under the throat, and some on the neck at the back of the head. Draw small bulging structures at the back of the neck. Here infraposterior to the temporal foramen were its ears. Let's finally fill some more details. For example, some vertical stripes like shells on its beak. Scientists found similar stripes on some known hadrosaur specimens. Pay attention to the back of its eyes, and the edge of its beak. Draw some wrinkles around the nostrils and around the eyes too. Its eye sockets were slanted downward while the eyes were in the upper position. We can draw some wrinkles to render the loose and soft skin below the eyes. Then use some casual lines to draw wrinkles and muscles at the back of the head. We can draw some lines to give the crest a sense of thickness. Good, we've done with the head of Parasaurolophus.